Coming up on Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
Today we're talking about the Christmas classic, Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I shot a kid.
He goes and talks with Huey Lewis.
In my pajamas with feeties on them. Just peeing my pants, just sitting in my dirty pee pants all day.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
They're in that helicopter, and
the
main guy, he's like,
Just like f***ing Saigon! Hey, Slick!
when I do die, I hope I die hard.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Shadwick.
Ow! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for. Today we're talking about the Christmas classic, Die Hard. Guys, where do you remember first seeing Die Hard? And also, I guess I want to welcome everybody to the parties, pal, because this one, I knew of it, but I never really watched it as a kid, obviously, I guess. And, dude, I was in my 20s before I was really exposed full force to the unrated greatness of Die Hard. Shadow, what about you?
That's what I was going to say. When I was a kid, I know I saw like the TV version of it.
Yeah,
I remember like thinking, well, this is not great.
Yeah, same here.
Because it was edited so heavily.
Right.
And wasn't this one of the movies that had a funny like?
It's the Yippee-ki-yay, and I don't remember what the fucking edit is. Do you remember?
Yeah, Yippee-ki-yay.
I do.
Mr. Was it Mr. Falcon? I think that's it. It. Yes, that's it. It's Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. And I'll tell you how I know.
Was there a mother trucker?
I'll tell you how I know it was Mr. Falcon. Is there's a dude at work. Shout out Nick. What up, dog? They were asking for favorite movie quotes.
He always talks shit about you, Nick.
We were talking about favorite movie quotes, and Nick submitted Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, hoping that it would squeak by for those that would know, and then would get motherfucker in like the newsletter or whatever.
Stop making Mr. Falcon a thing. It's not a thing.
But anyway,
stop trying to make fetch a thing.
Yeah, it was caught by actually Ben, who also listens to our podcast. That's over that newsletter. He was on board with it, so he caught it. Unfortunately, Ben, it may have cost him his job, but what a joke to go out on,
That's a good one, dude.
So much better than that guy that we worked with that said that he was going to shoot up the place.
Yeah. And I was like looking at him like, that's not very funny.
Yeah. And he's like,
and he just stared at you.
It's not supposed to be.
And that probably led him over to Get out of the street.
Get off the roof, you fucking bum.
Yeah, I know. It's like targeting us. Today, guys, actually, when I was editing some other episodes, Shadwick was talking about his quest for the ultimate old fashioned. So that's what I got today. I've got bullet bourbon and whatever mix I had. And I've got to be honest with you guys. It is not the perfect old fashioned, but it turns out it does have alcohol in it, and so I'm going to drink it and have a good time with that, man. So
Bull bourbon's delicious, dude.
Oh, it's good, man.
Well
it's
done
good
on your choice.
I just haven't got the ratios and the mixture right. Chadwick, man, what do you got there, brother?
So I have the same major ingredients as you. I've got the McAfee Brothers Benchmark.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Well,
you're gonna have to probably.
I'll
you'll
clip
have
it.
you'll have to clip
Yeah,
it in.
I got you.
But I'm actually drinking a John McClane.
A what?
It's a John McClane.
there's no way there's a John McClane cocktail.
Yep. Well, there's several different versions of it. One of them basically is just an old fashioned.
Right.
It's whiskey, simple syrup, and bitters. This one is whiskey and a ginger wine.
Okay.
Because
okay.
he is supposed to be from New York and with Irish descent. So
Yep.
he's a tough guy that likes his whiskey with a little bit of what was it, whiskey McDonald?
Nice. I like it. So
Maybe that's what it's called, whiskey Mac.
How does it taste? Like, what are the notes? What are you getting?
he's like, that's booze.
Yeah. I'm going to try the other version after this, where I put simple syrup and bitters in it.
So I found out also that Bruce Willis, when I was doing my research, he actually was advertising booze.
Seagram's.
Yeah, so he's advertising Seagram's, and it was known in
terrible.
Hollywood as Bruce Juice.
Yeah?
For a while. Yeah, that's what like everybody was calling it or whatever. So, Leaf, man.
That's awesome, dude.
Man,
Leaf, what do you got, man?
This drink is fucking terrible, guys.
So at the Nakatomi Plaza, there's a Christmas party going on. I assume these are weird California liberals, which of course John McClane multiple times mentions. I assume there is a vodka tonic.
Yeah, there's going to be a vodka tonic
in there.
there,
There's a vodka tonic in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I am in celebration of this classic. I don't care what anyone says. Fight me in the comment section.
There might have been a vodka tonic on the desk where that old girl was getting railed
Hans, Bobby.
in the office.
There might have been.
We're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about it, man. So,
There's no doubt.
Guys, before we get over into the topic, be sure to like, subscribe, spread the word. We do have our Shopify shop open. The link will be right here now because we can do that on YouTube now. So just make sure to check that out, buy our merch, and be sure to get your Z-Biotics, zbiotics.com. /be kind or promo code be kind. And I'll tell you what I'm doing, guys. First 5 people that show me proof that they bought Z-Biotics with our promo code, you get a free shirt. So just hit us up, show us what you got. First 5, you get a free Be Kind Let's Rewind shirt, man. So
respect.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together. Have a few laughs.
I'm just going to go ahead and blow my wad early, and I'm going to go ahead and get into shit stuck in my head this week.
Excuse me, guy who looks like Huey Lewis, but are there terrorists shooting guns here?
No one's here at all.
As a cop on Christmas, that's all I need to hear. I shot a kid.
It was that clip from, please?
The Cleveland Show did a Die Hard parody, and it's fucking excellent.
Look, the kid was 13. It was nighttime. He had a ray gun. It looked real enough.
It looked real enough, you know? Man, let's jump into some boring ass facts that don't exist. Leaf, you got anything?
Ladies and gentlemen, hit us up in the comment section if you haven't already with your favorite Christmas movie moments of this special. And yes, Die Hard, regardless of what Bruce Willis says, is indeed a Christmas movie without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, does he say it's not?
I mean, I seen a clip where it was at a award show or whatever. He said it wasn't. But
I watched it today, and there's Christmas movie throughout, and I watch it at Christmas. Therefore, it is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
Even the hacker guy, when they finally open up the vault, he says,
"Yep,
Merry Christmas."
Yes,
he does. He does. I mean, why would John McClane write, "Now I have a machine gun, ho ho ho," on a dead terrorist chest if it wasn't Christmas spirit?
Maybe he was writing it to the chick in the office. I don't know.
He should have been.
That one stuck with Chadwick, apparently.
So look, we're going. This was Bruce Willis's big like Hollywood breakout. Like he had done, I think, Blind Date, which I've never seen, and of course,
gosh, it's kind of like moonlighting, isn't it?
Yeah, we can't ignore Moonlighting. Yeah, which was really his real breakout.
Him and Sybil Shepherd, right? And he was just basically this character. And what turns out, from all accounts that I've read in this book, was just Bruce Willis. He's kind of a snarky New York asshole, which is funny. So
yeah. So what I'm gonna say is, if any of you don't know, Bruce he's come down with what is the
I think
deal
it's
he's
like
got?
some dementia form of dementia, I believe.
Yeah,
and we're not going to make fun of it, but I might.
It depends on how much booze you have.
Yeah,
it depends on.
But I've always like really liked Bruce Willis.
Same here,
of course.
I think pretty much anything I've ever seen him in. So
he's just great. Just Pulp Fiction, it's like we covered it. This one is like me and my wife watch this every single Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
He's an exceptional actor. Like, there's no doubt in our minds that he's just one of the greats. This is I believe his first foray into action movies. So for the uninitiated, Die Hard, of course, is a 1988 American action film by John McTiernan. Written by
the director of Predator.
Yep.
Ooh, yep. Another delicious classic. Written by Jeb Stewart and Stephen E. D'Souza, based on a 1979 novel, Nothing Lasts Forever, by Roderick Thorpe. Obviously,
and
stars.
You guys know the background on that?
Yeah, man. So that ended up being is it Tower of, what the fuck was the movie called? Anyway, Sinatra was in the first whatever this movie was, right?
Oh, Blue Eyes.
Print it, ship it. I'm buying that one.
just future Chris, just go ahead and put in an assload of Phil Hartman doing Sinatra clips.
Next issue, this crap with MTV, with the nudity and all. What is this crap? Sinbad O'Connor.
Dude. But yeah, so Sinatra did this movie, and so the director, per story, or maybe the I guess he went home after seeing this movie, had a dream of basically kind of like the Terminator dream, that James Cameron had. Like he had some kind of nightmare about terrorists taking over a thing, and then kind of formulated this idea, and then was like, all right, like let's, started writing the script or whatever, and that's kind of where this came from. And they offered this movie to fucking everyone and their sons, and no one would touch it.
So just going a little bit deeper, the original author that wrote the movie that Sinatra did, it was so well received that like they kept like kind of pushing him, like write another one.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Eyes had the first right of passage.
Yes, he had the first right of refusal or whatever.
Yeah, but it took this dude like I think 8 or 10 years to come up with something, and it ended up, I don't even remember if it had to do with terrorists, but the end of the movie was a dad was trying to save his daughter. She was falling off the top of the building, right? And his hand slips and she falls to her death.
Yeah. So vastly different movie than what we ended up getting.
Right.
Yeah.
So
this is.
Yeah. So then, Hollywood, whoever, they get this story and they're like, well, this is not going to work. So they hand it to a script writer and they're like, change some things around. And that dude, he sits with it for a while and he can't come up with anything. He's like about to give up, and he gets in a fight with his wife, and he gets mad. He gets mad. I don't even know his wife. Yeah. I'm sure she's a bitch. So says this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he gets mad, leaves. He's like, I'm not even a block away, and I'm like, fuck, she was right. I just need to apologize. And then he's like, that's it.
And he's like, it's a perfect idea for a movie. There's just another like small detail I need to sprinkle in here.
I shot a kid.
And there it is.
So this dude turns in this script, and then it's great. Like everybody that talks about it talks about, he's a great writer, but they wanted some comedy beats in it.
Yeah.
And that guy just was not able to deliver on that. So they bring in another guy. I can't remember his name now, but he does the final treatment on it. And he's working with McTiernan, which passed on this movie 4 or 5 times.
Right.
It was actually Joel Silver. He was the explosions guy, right?
Yeah.
He had worked with McTiernan on Predator, so he's like, this would be perfect for him.
Right.
And they wanted to work with him again anyway. So he finally like talks him into it. McTiernan, you know, he's trying to figure out everything. They're going into like buildings that are under construction, and they're writing that stuff into the script. Like they're seeing like the dolly, the pipes,
there's
the
like a lot
chains.
of this. The ending was even changed. Like the ending when they started filming, the ending wasn't fucking done.
Yeah,
like it's wild.
Yeah. So this guy that's writing the script, they had already started filming, and they brought him in to do rewrites. So he was writing in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Like that they're doing that. Leaf. So what? Go ahead and continue with the boring ass facts.
Bruce Willis won the role, but it was offered actually to the most popular in that decade of Hollywood actors, including Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Eastwood.
So many different actors. Bruce Willis,
Richard Gere too.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
yeah. And,
that was a weird one. Yeah,
and James Caan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Willis eventually.
I think we remember James Caan as Father
McNally. I can't remember McNally. That's my boy anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I can concentrate on his shit.
Pretty fucking ripped. Yeah, he's pretty fucking ripped for an old guy.
Man, he's pretty ripped for an old fuck, so we're in trouble.
Willis was eventually won the role, was paid $5 million for his involvement, placing him among, at that time, Hollywood's highest paid actors.
So the story to that was his agent, Willis, didn't really want to do it. He didn't care. Sybil Shepherd got pregnant, so they have an 11-month layoff from moonlighting.
I didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah. If you did, that's impressive, because I was like, what, 87, 88? But so the reload time on that's amazing. So anyway, so his agent's like, we don't want this. So he was like, I'm just going to throw them out a fucking insane number. At the time, he's like $5 million. Mm-hmm. And they went and got it approved because they saw the depth that this character needed, because this is not just because he's running, you know, a lot of the times he's heroic and everything, but there's a lot of charisma and character that's going to have to come through on this thing. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, Bruce is the guy. Let's go get him. Let's have some Bruce juice. And the book I'm reading actually is called Last Action Heroes. It's pretty fucking good. It covers like basically all the 80s and 90s, but
it's fucking good, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking good, dude. It's like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, all those dudes, Jackie Chan. But I had a chapter on Bruce Willis. If you actually look in this movie, you'll see on his shoulder that scar. I believe it's on his right shoulder. He broke his collarbone skiing. Then 6 weeks before he accepted this role, it was like Memorial Day or some shit. He's having a party at his house. The cops get called. He's like, you guys can't fucking come in here without a warrant. And they're like, why are you cursing so much? He's like, I'm from New York, so I'll fucking talk. And so they take him down. They break his collarbone again.
Oh, shit. Really?
His brothers and shit get arrested too, like fighting with the cops.
I didn't know this one.
And I was just like, hell yeah, all right, man. Bruce is my dude. Like,
it's so gangster. I love everything about that story.
They're in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, like listening to fucking, and what got him in trouble, I think, was they were listening to music, but Bruce had an album out at that time, and they were listening to that, and I think that's what probably got the neighbors to be like, oh God, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Weird game with other stuff.
Exactly. So like you'll notice the scar during the filming, I believe he's wearing a tank top multiple times or shirtless, whatever the case may be.
Right on his right over there. That's where the surgery had to have for his collarbone.
I assumed that in the movie, like they were gonna like mention it at some point in time, but they never do.
Bruce?
But there it is. Yes, exactly it, dude. Interesting. The film...
no cops were hurt during the filming of this.
The film had a budget of 25 to 35 million, but grossed 139 to 141.5 million dollars in the theaters. It was a massive success. It actually was released July the 12th. So against the Christmas movie narrative, it was released in
Christmas
in July.
Christmas in July, baby.
There it is.
I mean, there it is. There it is. I just want to just mention that for the haters of Die Hard being a Christmas movie, you know, to point to you. It was released in July, so
maybe that's where I saw saw it for the first time unedited. It was on Nickelodeon's Christmas in July.
Yeah,
That's where it was.
That's probably where you saw it. Yeah. So I myself
saw Mr. Falcon on Nickelodeon.
I didn't even mention it, but I actually saw this film again in my, as everyone knows, it's a friend of the podcast, my friend Trey's basement. This is a collection of nefarious, often unknown videos. Again, much like Shadwick and Chris, I did see it on TV, but unedited. As a young child, I was privy to this one as well as multiple other films. My brother
Leaf was Trey's manhole inspector.
He was. Good Lord, man.
How many?
Bro,
how many guys could Trey fit in his man cave?
Bro, we were best friends, dude. Like he was, unfortunately, him and I were slightly older than Chris, so Chris wasn't. Chris would have been right there with me. I'm telling you right now.
Not back then. I was too busy playing with fucking pound puppies in my pajamas with feeties on them, just peeing my pants, just sitting in my dirty pee pants all day.
Well, you're not cool unless you pee your pants.
I was definitely cool then.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
He would have been.
Let's go.
Been a little bit older. We'd have been right there together. But yeah, they were a little bit younger, so they weren't invited to the absolute
debauchery that was this vault of pirated
movies, borderline pornographic by 90s and 2000 standards.
Yeah.
80s movies, and I mean, honestly, one day we'll go into it. The levels of absolute physical abuse that happened in the 80s is just.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say in that basement.
No, I mean, we did. We beat the shit out of each other as kids.
We literally beat each other half to death with a bunch of.
You may beat your dick
incidents.
off. Yeah. I'll beat your dick off with two hands.
We used to shoot each other with BB guns because that's fun.
I find nowadays when I regale the stories of my childhood, the horrific faces that the people nowadays make when they hear how I was raised is.
Wait, you used to shoot bottle rockets at each other?
Yeah,
that's the least of
start with. Yeah,
what happened, dude. Like, what do you mean? You knew there was bottle rockets. Jeez. It was getting shot at you. Yeah. It wasn't even a question. Like back then.
What does it matter? What does it matter if we're inside? It's not like a real explosion.
So let's jump into our scene by scene, man. Let's get into it because it starts off like I've got some gems to sprinkle in here, and so does Shadwick, some behind the scenes stuff. So we'll just go as we go along.
We open up, obviously, the first scene. John McClane, our hero, is on the plane. A grizzled New York cop, as played by Bruce Willis, arrives in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve to visit his estranged wife Holly and their two children. Obviously a fellow passenger is giving him tips on how to relax after a long flight.
After you get where you're going, take off your shoes and your socks. Then you walk around on the rug barefoot and make fists with your toes.
Nervous because he's all tense and whatever during the flight.
Yeah, it's a long flight, man.
Yeah, that guy gives him the advice of as soon as you get somewhere, take your socks and shoes off and make fists with your feet.
With your feet on the carpet or
on
whatever.
the carpet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wish there was a scene at the very end of this where he revisited that guy.
The foot fetish guy. Like 100%.
I know it sounds crazy, but I travel all the time.
You know,
like, what the fuck, man?
It seems like a throwaway line, but it actually has an absolute.
It's good writing. You know,
it is not only it's exceptionally good writing.
It's fucking
this
good.
Guy tells Bruce Willis to relax by taking off his shoes because it has a massive implication in the movie going forward, and I love that about
the glass,
dude. I love the fact that. Especially in the 80s, film writers knew how to put in a minute detail, but have it become a major plot point later on. I feel like that's a lost art. You don't see that nowadays. Prove me in the comment section. Prove me if I'm wrong. If you could, yeah. Which I don't think you can, of an extremely minute detail like this that has a major implication on the film going forward.
Well, so let's talk about the writing for just a second, because up until this point, action movies were pretty much just Michael Bay movies. Like, they were just explosions, like,
and big guys.
Yeah,
like,
you got Rambo, you got Commando, like, yeah, all the buff, baby old shaved chests, which, I know Chris likes.
I'll point it out, by God.
That. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
It was his chest was shaved a second ago.
Yep, dude. Don't fuck with me on continuity on shaved chests.
As far as writing, it was pretty straightforward. Good guy, bad guy, boom, bang, pang, whatever.
Yeah,
and this was the first action movie where there's like a lot of like in-depth,
what year was it again this came out?
88.
So this is starting this started it, and then Keaton's Batman swung the super buff action movie, basically. That kind of nail in the coffin, that shit. I know we had some in the 90s and stuff, but not a whole lot. It was mainly dominated in the 80s. To your point, though, this one was way different because of there needed to be depth to this character.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the depth. They made John McClane, Bruce Willis's character. They made him like the everyman. Like he's not like special ops. He's not He's not retired building a fence saying he's never going to do that again.
Yeah,
right. It was different. Yeah, it was 100%. And also, Predator was released the year before this.
Yeah.
So like we're in the heyday of like the action movie star. Like this is all when in the middle of, like you said, Rambo, Running Man, Predator. This is all that age.
And this is
different.
The comedy bits in those were like one-liners. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like,
and they were terrible.
Stick around.
Yeah, I mean,
he had to split.
I mean, they're funny. They're funny now, but they're like funny, because you know what they are, right? Like it's just a throwaway line.
I'm going to backtrack just a little bit, because Rambo, First Blood, that's
true.
That was a really well written, in depth.
But that's
character.
also that's Stallone. Really, I mean, even in Rocky, there's depth in Rocky. Stallone, as much as he gets credit
Rocky's not an action movie.
Well, but I mean, I'm just saying, Stallone had depth in his characters, like always, it seems.
Absolutely.
And so, even when
he also smilled mainly.
He smilled mainly. I mean, when the Expendables came out, I mean, it was what we wanted. But, bring everyone together and blow shit up, and he did.
Yeah.
But with the other stuff, it's I feel like Rocky, there was depth. Rambo, there was depth. Now, as you get to Rambo 2 and 3, when him and Stallone were in the pit, or him and Schwarzenegger were in the pissing contest to see who could kill more people in their movies, a little different,
That's what I'm going to say. I was going to say that, if anything, I'm going to say that some of the Expendables have that kind of movie. People, what they really, I'm going to disagree with a lot of people, because I think that a lot of people felt like they wanted the shoot 'em up, blow 'em up kind of movie that they remember from the 80s. But what they don't remember is how much depth there actually was in some of these movies. Because if you watch the original Rambo, you see a grizzled veteran struggling to find his place. If you watch,
a flaw in a character is depth. It's not a super goosed up dude that can beat everybody's ass.
And I honestly feel like that to bring it back home, I feel like Die Hard is one of those action movies where you actually get someone who is more relatable. He's not necessarily an action star, more that he's sort of thrust into an impossibly unwinnable situation. Right?
He was so much not an action star and known, for moonlighting and being the funny smartass on that. When the first trailer came out, and people saw, I think it sets up, showing the bad guys infiltrating the building, whatever. And then the first time that it shows Bruce Willis as the hero, people started laughing.
Yeah, they laughed at the trailer, and they were like, the poster too for Die Hard.
Yeah,
tested the most negative of any poster. It was Big Bruce, Little Tower. It was the most negatively tested because they would test it to test audiences. Most negatively tested poster of all time.
Well, and after that trailer came out and people laughed at it, they took Bruce off the poster, and they put just the tower, right?
Yep.
And then like a couple weeks after the movie released, and everybody's like, "This is fucking good, dude."
Yeah,
good, dude. They're like, "All right, well, we'll leave the tower on there, and we'll just put Bruce's face to the side of it."
Yeah, which you've seen all kinds of there's versions of. You can look them up. You can see all of them. I'll throw some.
Well, it's like that even on like streaming platforms. Like everyone's got a different
one.
Poster. Yeah,
it's fucking cool.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that like in this scenario, the everyman, the everyday guy, like Bruce Willis, is just a police officer. He doesn't have exceptional physicality. He doesn't have exceptional. He's not gigantic. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's just this normal police officer who gets thrust into a really unfortunate position, and he has to sort of use his mind to outwit. Now he still has
sharp.
skill.
Yeah, he's sharp as fuck, and
he's sharp. But there's a lot of really unique
not now. Back then.
Unique circumstances for him to actually overcome the negative. So when you meet him here on the plane in the first scene, he's basically just like this guy. He's a cop.
No, you don't even know that until like the end of it. That's the thing. Like the guy. Yeah, the guy,
his luggage out and his gun is on his.
His
gun's
in,
You see the guy that's given the unwanted advice. He kind of he's like taken aback, and it's funny because he does a really great balancing act of the funny smartass and the stoic guy. So like he just looks down at the guy and he recognizes that the guy's nervous about seeing his gun, and he's just like, "It's all right, I'm a cop."
Yeah.
Yeah,
just calm as can be,
and he picks that up too because now he gets picked up by a limo, which is one of my favorite characters in this movie, Argyle.
Hey, I'm John McClane. Argyle, I'm your limo driver.
Just that whole thing is so fucking funny. Like Argyle picking him up, and he's just like, doing the taxi cab thing, which he mentions, like, hey, I used to drive a cab because he's like, you always ask everybody this many questions. But I didn't pick up the first time I watched this that McClane decides to sit in the front seat because he's not used to this kind of shit.
Yeah.
So he doesn't understand that, like, you're being treated, you go sit in the back, like, because he's Everyman, which apparently, like, I guess that was a big sticking point in the writing process. This helps solidify him as, like, he's not like these, like, rich dudes.
And dude, I could 100% see you doing that.
Oh, yeah, me?
Yeah.
100%. Dude, if it was just me and the limo driver, fuck yeah, I'm sitting up front.
Abdul! USA!
He would be the one that was like, do you always ask your drivers this many questions?
Why, literally. Our guy was actually played by Devereaux White.
Who was that guy that was trying to get in the van with us at the...
That's another story for another time. Our guy was actually played by Devereaux White. He picks up Bruce Willis's character at the airport when he lands, and he looks like a little Bow Wow. He's just this like small like
he looks like he's like fucking 16, like
smack talking, black guy. He's so funny. He's playing like, what is it, like Run DMC?
And again, another nod to the Christmas. He says,
another nod to
Christmas. Don't you have any Christmas music? And it's Run DMC.
Yeah. And Bruce Willis looks at me. He's like, "You gonna play some of that rap crap when I'm riding in this here car?" No, he doesn't say that at all because he's from New York. And so we obviously get a flash of the next scene, which is really important. The Nakatomi Plaza, one of the main, obviously the main area scene, the only scene really in the entire movie, and we get. John McClane is coming to visit his wife, who she works for one of the Japanese characters in the film.
Oroko Saki.
Yeah, we're getting to his name, and they're having a
Yoshi.
they're having a Christmas party, and she's a high, well-to-do executive. Again, ladies and gentlemen, another example of a woman overwhelmingly succeeding in the 80s, the late 80s, above men. Weird. Her husband is a garbagey cop who makes no fucking money, but she is basically a higher up at the Nakatomi Plaza here in this particular movie, working for Japanese people.
She won't ever be president, though. of the company. Of the company.
Because it's a Japanese-owned company.
Because she's not Japanese.
Yeah,
she's not Japanese.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So they're having a Christmas party.
Oh, you guys.
She's invited her husband. That's
funny.
Why they're having a Christmas party. She's actually invited her husband to join. Obviously, he is from New York. He's coming in because she has moved her entire life to California.
And their 2 kids.
And their kids.
And their 2 children. And John McClane, Bruce Willis's character, is just a grizzled cop who is obsessed with his work. He wants to, he gives the reason he didn't want to move to California is that he had some guys to basically bust and take care of.
Yeah.
Like, he loves his work.
He had already busted them, right? They were waiting their court.
Right.
Awaiting their court dates.
Yeah.
So they were 6-month backlog with court.
Yes. He was still working on his own thing. He didn't assume that she would succeed like she did, but she did. She rose up in the ranks of this corporation, and here she is in California with their kids.
He had never watched Mr. Mom.
Yeah. He also finds out, too, when he finally does arrive there, he does find out that she has taken her maiden name, assumedly.
Assumedly, which she defends. So they have an argument. As soon as he arrives, Chris is right. They fight over it. They immediately go to, what, most married people do, the old wounds. And they start fighting about the old arguments. He's mad because she took her maiden name. She explains this is a Japanese company.
Right.
He's like, oh, you really are just like your mother.
God.
That's a yeah. Men,
I don't think
if you
said that, but
just go ahead and get divorced right now in the middle. During this scene, you meet John McClane, even in more detail. You meet his wife Holly, played by Bonnie Bedelia.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think Bruce Willis got her that role. Right? They were looking for someone. They hadn't cast Holly yet, and
I'm not sure.
He recommended her because he knew her from
had worked with her or something.
For something they had done prior. Cool. And they're like, well, she's not the standard.
She wasn't a bombshell.
Yeah, she's not the super hot. She's not Michelle Pfeiffer or whatever.
She's attractive, but she's
it fits this role perfect, and also they honestly. You don't really want them to have chemistry, right? Because they're in a struggling marriage. You don't really want that chemistry to be there. So the way they played this off each other, I enjoyed. It was real cringy.
Well,
it was cringy from Jump Street when they see each other.
I may have talked about this before. There's a horror movie called The Strangers. It had Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler in it, and it starts off. The reason I think it works so well as a horror movie is the opening scene is them riding in a car. They've been at a party, and you find out that he has proposed to her, but she turned him down. So there's already this fucking tension, right from Jump Street. Yeah. And that's the same thing they did here. Obviously this was first, but they introduced this tension between these two characters already.
Right.
So you're already kind of on edge, and then the shit hits the fan.
Yep.
It does. So Bruce Willis obviously meets his ex-wife. He's changing clothes. They're in the middle of a Christmas party at this Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, he's got to get a little dolled up. His wife beater ain't cutting it.
Yeah, he's taking a whore bath. And
he is taking a whore bath. And what does he do, gentlemen? He takes that guy's advice on the plane.
Yep.
And he takes his shoes off.
He's going to scrunch his toes.
He sits down. He's making
also,
fish.
side note, you know how many people have tried this? I mean, obviously not Leaf, but a lot of people have tried this after flights. I saw that one. That one was an uppercut to Chadwick's funny bone. If you follow that in slow motion, you can see him one time be like,
you can see him just like, it didn't even affect me. I'm mostly used to it. All right.
So yeah, he's taking his whore bath. He's got his shoes off, and he's making fists with his toes in the carpet, and he's like, "Son of a bitch."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yep, that's what he said.
And then all of a sudden, you hear this fucking gunfire.
Yep,
it's happening
because as he's doing that, these we think they're terrorists. They drive in with this big like box truck into the parking garage. They all walk out, and then as they go into the building, they all kind of split up. They've all got their designated jobs to do. They're going to cut the phone lines. They're going to they don't cut the power, right? They cut the phone lines.
They cut the phone lines. All communication is literally cut from the building.
Because he's on the phone. Yeah. McClane's on the phone with Argyle.
Argyle? Back, you there? Hello?
And the guy that actually goes downstairs and is like kind of their watch out was a little hip to be square, if you know what I'm saying, because he looks like Huey Lewis. He's here, there, and everywhere.
Be square.
Did you guys, everywhere. Did you guys know that one of the first guys that Bruce Willis kills is the brother of the big blonde guy that he fights at the end?
Yeah,
you know that guy's a fucking ballet dancer?
Yeah, he's a ballet dancer.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
The last guy other than like Hans.
You can see it in one of his kicks.
Yeah, I saw. When I was watching that today, I was watching it today, and I was like, God damn it! I hope Shadow doesn't watch this.
No,
Shadow saw it. Yeah, he can pick out a ballet dancer kick.
He's better than Patrick Swayze, but
I was starting to say Patrick Swayze was
still pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good job. So yeah, the terrorists do take over, and of course we get to see they seize control of the building. They cut the phone lines, the alarms. They take hostages, and of course we get some classic 80s naked breasts.
Chadwick mentioned her twice earlier.
He did. Let's get to it. We get to see there was during the Christmas party. As I've never been to a corporate Christmas party.
Yeah, apparently we go to the wrong Christmas parties.
Yeah. We go to the wrong one. Some chicks getting
Let's
railed.
just say they were having a little bit of a white Christmas at this one.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little bit on you.
Actually, that actually happens momentarily, but obviously, quickly you find out that Hans Gruber is more than what he seems. He's after $640 million of bonds that is locked in the basement in a vault from, what is it, Joe Takagi?
Yeah.
So
like the person who owns the building, who immediately makes a Pearl Harbor joke right before the hostage taking begins.
I didn't realize they celebrated Christmas in Japan.
They were flexible. Pearl Harbor didn't work out, so we got you with tape decks.
We also are introduced right before the action begins to Ellis. Got to be Shadwick's favorite character, or is it
my favorite character?
All of our favorite characters.
I fucking hate that dude.
Dude, I love him.
I love him too. Okay, so not Shadwick, only me and Chris.
Yeah. Also, he looks like Robbie Roode that used to wrestle.
Yes.
And every Christmas I've texted him drunk.
Shit.
Every Christmas for I don't know how many years now, he just like a yearly text from me that I'm like, Hey, we're watching Die Hard, Ellis.
Dude,
hey, can you just send me his cell phone numbers?
Yeah,
just so I can be like Hans.
Booby.
Booby.
I made him say it when I was at the last time I was at wrestling. I was like, I was joking about it again. He was like, I started saying the line. He joined me with it, and I was like, yeah, you're that guy.
You got to do it. Yeah, he's.
Then we did cocaine.
80s. Allegedly, that's ignorant.
Yeah. So,
but so did he.
Yeah, we fucking kind of messed up a little bit because when McClane first gets there, he meets what's the owner's name? Nagasaki.
Joe Takagi.
Takagi.
Gummit.
So he meets him and he's talking about like, did you enjoy your ride in? You know, with the limo, try to make you feel special, whatever.
Which Takagi picks him out of the crowd because he can tell.
And then he meets Ellis, and Ellis is just the fucking blowhard. Oh yeah.
When he comes in the office, like Ellis is already doing snorting cocaine.
Yeah, Takagi's like, I want to introduce you to Holly's policeman husband.
Yeah. Even Willis has a comment, and he's just like,
heard a heck of a lot about you. Missed something.
But yeah, you see what kind of douchebag he is right from the beginning. Like he's just a blowhard. Like, you know, Holly got a Rolex as a gift because she's done so well. You know.
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
Yeah,
but he's awesome.
So the terrorists show up. They do invade. They basically, you pretty much find out that they're after the bonds that are in the basement, but nobody else sort of knows that, and it's all planned out. And that's kind of where the brilliance of this movie sort of occurs, right? Is that, you know, nobody else knows their plan. We're the audience, so we're sort of privy to what it is these terrorists.
They cram that in pretty quick too. I mean, this is another movie that like you get straight to the shit pretty quick, right?
I wish more movies were this way yet. This set is super quick.
I didn't clock it exactly, but it's somewhere between like 18 to 20 minutes in when the terrorists arrive.
Nice.
Yes.
And
just like a 2 hour and 12-minute movie, as I found out today when I was like, it's not that long.
I know, dude. I fell asleep last night. I had to finish it today. But let's talk about Hans for a second, because as another like no experience in Hollywood, Shakespearean
actor,
Broadway actor, Alan Rickman. Everybody's like, who the fuck is Alan Rickman?
Alan
Rickman.
And man, how fucking good is he?
Dude, great. He's actually, I can't really think of a movie that he's been in that I didn't like him, that he wasn't amazing. Like
I can think of about 8.
Really? Oh, the Harry Potter. He was still good in it.
Yeah,
but
he was fine.
But like the Dogma, he was fucking incredible in Dogma. He's incredible in this. And this, again, like you said, was his first movie.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Prince of Thieves. He was Sheriff Nottingham, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Prince of Thieves.
I quote that all the time. When
it worked in Blazing Saddles.
When I always look at my wife and be like,
"Who told you to cover up?"
Chadwick living absolutely in the 80s.
Oh, love it.
So indeed, the terrorists led by Hans Gruber, aka Alan Rickman, just absolutely fantastic.
Hello, Alan Rickman. It's Alan Rickman, reminding you to move the pork chops from the freezer to the refrigerator.
Throughout this movie, we'll mention it multiple times. Basically takes over the building. You find out they're after the bonds that are in the basement, and John McClane narrowly avoids capture with the rest of the schlubs that are at the party. These are all corporate people. He's the only police officer, and that's what's great about this movie is the fact that you have the one guy that knows something, anything, sort of already escapes, and he's a loner, right? Everybody else just followed in line, did what they were supposed to do. And even later on, John McClane laments about doing more. He's talking to himself, and he's like, "Why didn't I just go in?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, because I would be killed instantly." It's just like,
like
he
wanted
to
himself.
do, yeah,
and I love that too.
Couldn't.
Yeah,
it's like beautiful.
I really feel like if I'm in that situation, one, I would have already been killed, but two, I think I would be like talking to myself. I don't know, maybe a coping mechanism.
Yeah, dude. I would just like look up at Leaf and be like,
Yo, I'm gonna make a run for it, B.
I'm like, calm down. And so, yeah, John McClane literally, like, he of course is unfortunately barefoot. And why? Why is he barefoot?
Because the callback to the beginning of the movie.
He was scrunching his toes with the toe trick, man, trying to relax. So he is barefoot. He escapes with only his service pistol in hand.
And there's no communication, so he does what he knows because he knows the fire alarm is connected different to a different alarm and not through the phone system.
Yep.
He does.
Or at least I assume. I could be wrong. It could be through the phone system. But I'm pretty sure all the major buildings, that's actually like a separate alarm that will go directly, right? So he pulls a fire alarm.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, he decides, listen, I need to figure out how to like alert the authorities. Nobody knows this building has been taken over by I need to get the police here. Like ASAP.
Why didn't he just pull out his cell phone?
Jesus, dude. 1988, 89. Stop.
I mean,
cell phone.
I mean,
dude,
they had them, but they were as big as a fucking
as
pillow.
Our computer. Yeah. They're as big as our desks we're on right now.
Wait, you remember Argyle? Argyle had a car phone in the. That was the most advanced technology you could get.
And it was in fact, limo.
Argyle mentions it when they're driving to the Nakatomi Plaza from the airport. Argyle's like, dude, this car has everything, like car phone, like cassette player.
Cassette
player, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Sign me up, dog. Full bar also. Sponsor our podcast, Die Hard.
Absolutely the best technology you could possibly get. So, of course, John McClane does escape. He is one of the hostages instantly taken, and he automatically starts causing shit. He causes a ruckus. He gets into a tussle with one of the terrorists immediately. One of the German terrorists.
What I liked about this is as we go through this, the different deaths per terrorist. Mm-hmm. Like, so sometimes in these action movies, it's all like fucking spray, you know, fire, they're dead or whatever.
This goes back.
This goes like this one. I don't know if this has happened. I know it's happened in a few movies, but the falling downstairs, people like just kind of, because we see it so much with stuntmen and women that you're just like, but like. You can break your fucking neck going downstairs. You can really get hurt falling downstairs, man. They're dangerous. And so I thought this was good that like they just have a little sound bite as he's doing the tussle and they fall down the stairs and you're like sort of a South Park like
it was more like I was under it's more like
I'll put that in post.
So the German hitchman tussles with John McClane, and he does die in in basically a fight and a wrestling match where they roll down the stairs. He breaks his neck. He's dead.
Can I just say real quick, when I do die, I hope I die hard.
You're the second person to make that joke today.
Yeah, well, were you the first?
Probably.
So Hans, so John McClane loots
That's what
this
I'm gonna
guy.
do.
Shit.
John McClane loots this dude, and he's got all kinds of stuff.
This is the boner moment for me. Like, you can go ahead and talk out the rest of the scene, but I fucking love this every time I watch it.
Please remember, we have left nothing to chance.
Dude, he gets the guy's gun. The guy had a machine gun, so now John McClane has a machine gun. This guy had a walkie-talkie to communicate with other terrorists. Now, John McClane has a walkie-talkie. He's got a flashlight. You couldn't write this better in a video game.
No, that's what I mean. It just plays like a video game.
It really does.
It's perfect. He loots this dude and gets all of the epic gear and sends the guy down in an elevator tied to a chair. This body, excuse me, he's obviously dead. He sends the guy's body, and on his gray sweater is written, "Now I have a machine gun." Ho ho ho, to the terrorist leader.
Ho. Yeah. It's amazing, because he could have just left the body there, and now he's got the machine gun to go about it. He's like, nope, it's time to do a little trolling. Let's do this to let him know he's there.
And I think that's part of one of the best aspects of this is the psychological warfare they're both constantly trying to play on each other. Yeah. I think that's actually, to me personally, the best part about this movie is that this is more of a cerebral action movie because they're constantly trying to get the upper, and they're both very smart characters.
Dude, yeah,
right?
Between Hans and McClane is fucking insane. On the walkie, back and forth, the dialogue there is just incredible.
It's so good. Like McClane is sort of like the practical on the ground, disgruntled police officer, knows a lot. Hans Gruber is the highly intelligent, thief, terrorist, what have you, who has planned this entire thing out. And as we go forward, you'll see that his character has it all planned out, and he's done it very, very well. Yeah. And so it's funny to see them to just sort of go back and forth. And that's sort of the first blow. It's that McClane is like, hey, I'm here. I killed your guy, and I took his gun. And the guy he killed was this German dude who had a brother.
Yeah,
I know. And Hans is like,
to tell Carl his brother is dead. Tell him to come down.
Yeah. Dude, that shit though. Yeah, that shit that cuts, and then you get old fucking Carl Winslow in a convenience store, and what is the guy? The convenience store guy's like,
I thought you guys just ate donuts.
So he tried the fire department first. He pulled the fire alarm.
Didn't work.
Yeah,
they stopped it.
Yeah, they see the signal going out, so they call. I guess they call the fire department. It's all clear. Whatever. So he sees the fire trucks coming down the street with their lights on and everything, and then all of a sudden they turn the lights off and they start turning around. It's like no.
Yeah,
dude.
It's so bad. So he's trying to figure out another way. So after he kills the terrorist, he gets the
walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
And he radios into the LAPD to the two
Karens. The two fucking Karens.
Dumbass Karens, 911 operators alive.
They're not really making a good case for women on the police force. I'm just saying.
This is the worst thing you've ever seen. He's like, help me on this. And obviously, so first of all, it seems like reasonable.
It's a great line too, right?
Yeah.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
No fucking shit, lady. Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
Yes. Yeah, he's making so many jokes, and of course the audience is us. We're like, please help this man. He knows what he's talking about, but from their perspective, it just seems like a prank call. I guess in the late 80s, maybe there was a lot of goofy.
Well, they even said that's the same place that the fire department was called a while ago.
So they knew, and so they're going to send somebody just to go look, right?
Except for they didn't know because the gunshots start ringing out because the terrorists find John McClane and they start shooting with automatic weapons fire so hard that the bitches and the 911 operator are like, and they're like screaming, and they couldn't believe it. They're like, well, send some random Family Matters sitcom star.
Even after the fucking gunshot, she's like, send a black and white out there and have them take a look.
Dude, they're the dumbest bitches alive. Unbelievable. This is the dumbest part of the film.
Dude, I know. They're like, dude, who do we have on the roster to send out there? And they're like, they got this one guy, and they're like, on his record,
I shot a kid.
And eventually send him out.
They sent Carl Winslow from the sitcom Family Matters, aka Reginald Vell Johnson, to investigate what is going on. So John McClane begins to battle the terrorists because, like, again, the 911 operators don't care. There's automatic gunfire. They catch up with John McClane. They're fighting it out, right? So finally, Carl Winslow shows up. Initially, he dismisses the situation as a false alarm. The terrorists are really good at pretending they're running the building. They've maintained all of the levels of power there.
The great one is like because he drives up in a circle, and that's when Bruce Willis has the line of like,
Who's driving his car? Stevie Wonder?
because he's just driving in a fucking circle. Who is blind? If the younger listeners don't fucking know.
Carl Winslow calls for backup when obviously John McClane throws one of the dead terrorist bodies down on top of his car.
Yeah,
and the movie is officially on.
It's game on, man.
And
it's
so what is his name? Al Powell, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and talks with Huey Lewis.
Evening, officer. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I know. It's such canned lines.
It's terrible. But yeah, he's going to leave.
Yep.
And Bruce Willis is like, I've got to fucking get his attention somehow. So he throws a body and it lands on his car. And this is one of the funniest things to me because as soon as it hits the car, he's like,
Snow, let it snow, let it snow.
God damn it, Jesus ain't crazy!
He's backing up, like trying to get the fuck out of there.
Welcome to the party, pal.
In his defense, when the terrorists
They start
realize
shooting
the
at
jig
him,
is up, they start opening up with like a fully heavy assault
So anyway, they
machine
start
gun.
blasting.
yeah.
Bang, bang.
And he's screaming at like, his cars. He's like, they're turning my car into fucking Swiss cheese.
And the 911 reporters are like, oh, is this a prank?
They're like, is this real?
Send a black and white out there. We'll see.
She's like,
God, I hope I get my period soon. I am in a bad mood.
Let's get some fucking French toast.
Some fucking French toast. So
She's
while this is...
She's like, I'll sleep with one black guy and I'm fucking late on my period. In the 80s. God damn it.
yeah.
So while this is happening, Walter Peck overhears the action on the radio and the news reporter, and springs into action.
Well,
yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Damn it!
It was a race to that one. You should have known. Yeah, he's out.
I knew someone was going to get it. I can't believe it was John Chadwick. That was
It's fine. It's fine.
That was more worth it than I thought it was going to be. I was going to let y'all. I assumed Chad was going to get it, but that was way better.
It's fine.
That
It's true. You're on.
way better. Yeah. So the news reporter overhears.
Dude,
the
he plays an asshole in everything, and
it's beautiful.
Really good at it. He's really passionate about it.
It's beautiful. So a news reporter overhears the action on a CB radio, and obviously he is on it. He plays a pivotal role going forward. But that's later.
He fucks everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He does. He absolutely screws John McClane, our hero. And so the cat and mouse begins.
Yep.
Hans sends his men to eliminate John McClane, and obviously John McClane outwits the terrorists at every step. And on a side note, his wife, I guess, is his estranged wife. They're technically still married.
They're still married
in this.
Just not in Japanese culture, apparently.
Yeah, she emerges as the leader among the hostages, obviously confronting Hans about the treatment, which is dangerous in the movie because obviously the audience realizes us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We realize, oh no, like this is John McClane's wife. If Hans ever finds out that it's his wife, like we're in, like our hero is in a lot of trouble if Hans figures this out. And so she's trying to take care of the hostages, asking for bathroom breaks and all that nonsense. And
especially for the pregnant woman, like she's like lets him know, hey, she's not due soon, so like, but she's gonna need bathroom breaks, blah blah blah.
He's like, can we move her into an office so she can lay on a couch? And he's like, no, but I'll bring a couch out. Does that work? She's like, it's good enough.
Yeah. So she's really trying to like help the hostages, and we get in a situation basically where she is sort of the ambassador to all of the hostages.
And you know what? They kind of they do the bait and switch with the audience there too, because she's talking to him like sensibly, and he responds sensibly, like yeah, it'll be done. We'll get you bathroom breaks. We'll move the couch out for the pregnant lady. The whole time, the plan is to move everybody, all the hostages, up to the roof and fucking blow it up,
blow them up, so they can make their escape.
So we're thinking, all right, man, like he's a reasonable dude. Like he's not there to like hurt anybody. He just wants to steal some shit, right? Yeah. Even when SWAT shows up here, we haven't talked about it yet, but he's like, be patient, just wound them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so cool. He's not really wanting to kill anybody. He just wants to get in and out. He's got a plan. Okay.
Yeah, at this point in time, and you're right. So SWAT does show up, and they're as retarded and ignorant as you might expect them to be. And Hans and the other Euro trash just delete the police in an epic scene. In a slightly less epic scene than when in Terminator 2, Arnold Schwarzenegger takes a minigun and just shreds the police.
Yeah.
It's basically what happens in this scene. That the terrorists just absolutely they try.
The police have an RV.
Yeah,
dude, they blow them to absolute hell, and it is awesome to watch. In response.
McClane, like I didn't understand this the first time I'm watching it, because like I guess I missed when he loaded the monitor or whatever up when McClane's loading this up to actually like detonate like a big bomb. Basically, he's like just trying to get attention, like, hey, like get fucking bodies in here, man. Like,
well, I think he was pissed, right?
Yeah,
because like he calls Hans. They shoot that fucking rocket launcher or whatever, and shoot that the SWAT RV, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And blow it up. And then McClane can still hear them on the walkie-talkie. And Hans is like, shoot him again. And he's like,
Hans, you motherfucker, you made your point. Let him pull back.
Thank you, Mr. Cowboy. I'll take it under advisement. Hit it again.
So then McClane gets pissed. So he's got this C4, right? And he tapes it to a office chair and throws it down the
computer monitor, right? Like I think there's a computer monitor, some shit on it to go all the way down.
Geronimo, motherfucker.
I'm not sure that's how C4 works. I think you have to have a detonator. Yeah.
Look, let's not worry about how it works. Let's just know that it worked, and it blew
worked.
up.
It blew the fucking shit out of that first floor.
Woo. Let's not argue about who killed who. It's just
because this is up and coming is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, when he's talking to the FBI agent.
No,
not the FBI, the guy that was in.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, yeah. When he's talking to him, and the guy's like, he calls him an asshole. He goes, "I'm an asshole."
I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne.
No.
One of the most savage roasts even to this very day.
And you see Argyle's listening in. You see
Argyle's like, oh shit! Like, Argyle turns into that gif where like the dude's like standing like this, and the other people are like, oh.
He had to get up and walk around.
And that's a good point, because the whole time this shit is happening, like there's comedic instances where Argyle is just like just jamming out and hanging
tunes.
out in his limo, and like in the background you see like people getting killed and blown up just randomly, like he's in the basement waiting for John McClane like to come back out.
Awesome.
Like it's beautiful. It is absolutely
but up
beautiful.
next, man, is my personal white knight. I believe that it's time for a man to step up and negotiate is what's going to happen here. And so
it is somebody who knows what's going on.
Brother.
Hey, business is business. You use a gun, I use a fountain pen. What's the difference?
He does $1 million business deals for breakfast, you know, unlike Shooter McGavin, who later eats pieces of shit for breakfast. But this guy does $1 million deals for breakfast. So
our hero, Ellis.
Unlike Jack Nicholson, who eats breakfast 300 yards from men trained to kill me.
But I love too, like when he walks in and you can 100%, because at this point in time, you know, like Hans is like maniacal, super sharp dude, and he is patronizing the fuck out of him with every word that Ellis is saying.
I know, even like he like kind of leans in to listen to him. Like
you're amazing. You figured this all out already.
And then you get my favorite line, which has been shit stuck in my head this week before, when he sits down and is
Hans, Bobby, I'm your white knight.
That big on the end of it, like just so fucking over the top. And like
he's got that, and maybe even like a dyed beard, like so
dude,
black, and those fucking pearly whites, and he is
everything
so,
douche.
Yeah, he's so sure of himself that he's the man that can.
But they also, this is also smart too, because they run a tease on this. Like the first time you watch this, when he's like, "I got someone here that you know," and so McClane's "Fuck, he's got my wife."
Yeah,
and then but when he like picks up,
hey, John boy, Ellis.
He's putting on that like, yeah, dude, this is Ellis. This is like what. This is, you know, he's trying to pretend like he's his friend to negotiate this deal. And he's just like, Ellis are going to fucking kill you. Like, you got to get out of there because
he's like, Hans, listen to me. I just met this guy tonight. I don't know. We're not friends.
Yeah, I know. And
he's trying to save the dude's life.
Yeah, he's trying to save the dude's life. And then I love the line too when Ellis is like,
hey, what am I, a method actor, Hans? Babe, put away the gun. This is radio, not television.
Like,
I'm not a method actor.
Yeah, I'm not a method actor or whatever. And then
the reason this is my favorite scene in the entire show, if you've ever watched somebody in slow motion who is out of their depth, and I feel like everyone has had those moments where you saw somebody trying to talk their way out of something you knew they were not going to get out of. This is that moment encapsulated in film that is one of the most epic moments to me, because I have seen this multiple times in my lifetime. Somebody thought they were the shiftiest and talk their way out of anything, and I'm the best at everything. And you realize, and before they do, that they're so far out of their depth. And that is exactly what happens, because Ellis gets his head absolutely blown
the
off.
fuck off. And what's good too is like, I mean, I know it's rated R, but to not show anybody that gets like headshots in this, to kind of not show the head, they'll like the absolute super gore like they would in some horror movies. They would do a blurry pan. So the shot's focusing on Hans, but you can see a blurred his Ellis's head with blood down the back of the chair, like as it pans around. But that part's blurry, so you don't have to really do a whole lot like effects wise for that. It just paints a good picture, shot really well.
Yeah, you know he's dead, and it's like it's impactful. It feels like it matters. It's real. It just doesn't pan away with a gunshot. Like, you know, he died and he was so far out of his depth. And be honest, you're glad that he's dead. There wasn't anyone that felt sorry for Ellis. Nobody did, dude. Everybody was like, good. He got what he deserved. You hated him from the second you saw him on screen.
He lived by the Wolf of Wall Street creed, man. He did not die sober.
So we move forward a little further, and we have this scene where Hans meets John McClane face to face, which is to me one of the most brilliant scenes in the movie. It's so good.
And I got a little bit on that too. The writer, he was trying to figure out how to make that work, right? Dude. So like there's got to be a meeting between the two, but you don't want either one of them to die.
Right.
So they were actually just like sitting around. I think they were having lunch or something.
Yeah.
And the writer was talking with Alan Rickman,
this is why this was a weird chance encounter, is because Alan Rickman usually didn't eat with everybody. This was one of the few times, like he would, I think, the female lead, like Willis's wife in this, he would sometimes go eat with her, but he was really kind of a recluse. So this is why this is kind of like serendipitous, like meant to be. He just happened to be hanging out with him, and you can continue.
Yeah, I didn't know that part, but he, the writer was like, a lot of like English actors, they do American accents. Like, do you do that? And he goes, well, not really, but I kind of do this like California accent.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And so like he does it, and like a fucking light bulb went off in the writer's head. He's like, that's how we do it.
That's how we do it. Yeah.
So he writes in this meeting where Bruce Willis, like, he doesn't really know that he's talking with Hans.
He doesn't know who he is, but he knows that he's not who he says he is.
Right. Yeah. So McClane's got his machine gun. He's like going. Is he in the stairwell? No, he's not in the stairwell.
Well, he's like on a level, like they're on like a level in between or some shit.
But it's like one of the higher levels.
Yeah.
And like he turns the corner and he's got the machine gun, and he finds like Hans like down on his hands and knees. He's pointing the gun at him, and Hans does the American accent, like,
oh, please God, no, you're one of them, aren't you? You're one of them.
What I love is there's a rhythmic beat where it's like you can see in Hans's head, and this plan just goes, and then he like there's a pause, and then he goes into the panicking or whatever. And that's what I like. It's like if it really happened, right? Like you're not going to just instinctively know you're going to do that. So I thought that was great. Like that there's a pause because his brain is processing what has just happened, and then he goes to that plan. Like,
he's caught, and then he tries to immediately pretend like he's not, one of the terrorists, which is like Chris said, it's brilliant. And he's wearing a suit, but it doesn't matter because everybody in this freaking entire show is wearing a suit. It's at a corporate meeting, so it goes in.
Was it one of those suits he got in London? I hear it. Rumor has it Arafat gets his there.
Yeah, Yasser Arafat got his suits there. There's a throwback for y'all fans of the show and nostalgia. And he does, in my opinion, one of the worst American accents that I've ever heard in my entire life, which I hate to say this because I remember it being so much better. But when I watched it this time, I was like, no, Alan.
Well, you know what?
You still sound like a panicky Alan Rickman to me. It's so awful.
What's weird is it starts off like a good American accent.
Yeah.
But the more they talk, the more he kind of like slips
you know
back
what it is?
into it.
You know what it is he like, I think sometimes people have certain phrases and impressions they can do. Like usually if you do an impression, you can do like 4 or 5 words of like what someone said. Like I don't know, like for instance, thank you. But like, so anything.
This is why we fly private.
But anyway, that's what it is though.
Right.
So a lot of times in impressions, people to be fluent. That's why voiceover work is hard when people are like, oh, I can say, beep, beep, beep. That's all, folks. I could get paid millions of dollars. It's like, can you do the other lines though? And that's where you see this happen. He's strong.
I'll have a
But that's what it is. Like, so like, he's strong on a few phrases, and then when he's exposed to do more dialogue, slips. It was good enough for me. It made me laugh, and I thought it was clever as fuck.
It was a clever scene. It was very, very good. But it's
a pretty neat trick with that accent.
Yep.
Much like everyone in the audience, McClane isn't really fooled for much of a second, maybe initially, but McClane instantly realizes that this guy isn't who he says he is. He doesn't know who he is specifically, but he instantly realizes, and he gives him a gun.
He also gives him that pack of fags. I mean,
he does.
I mean, cigarettes.
They are cigarettes. That's what they're called in Europe.
Yeah,
they are. That's
we're
true.
We're okay.
British.
We're okay. Shadow banned YouTube.
with this one.
But what's okay? So actually, another fact on this, probably much like me, Alan Rickman didn't know how to hold a gun. He was doing lip rest when he was holding the gun, so they actually had to teach him how to hold a gun and shit because he'd never done it before.
And I can't remember who was that lady that like taught him to hold the gun, like stiffen up his wrist.
Oh, fuck,
was she like a producer?
I think so. But yeah, she had to show him how to do it. I mean, to be honest, the first time I like held a gun, I'd watched so much gangster rap. I was like, break yourself, fool. And
kill shot.
And the guy at the range is like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I was just like,
he's like, I'm robbing a prostitute. Like I do every day on GTA.
Also,
the hooker and I.
So John McClane instantly realizes that he isn't who he said he was, but it's too late because for some reason John McClane didn't realize it fast enough before.
No bullets. You think I'm fucking stupid, Hans?
You're saying?
Hans Gruber radios in where his henchmen, and they all show up. The most important part of this scene, though, is that Hans Gruber realizes that John McClane is barefoot.
Yep.
This is a point in time where you're like,
shoot the glass.
Yep.
Shoot the glass. And so, like, he honestly is one of the best villains. And you'll see later on, we haven't mentioned it enough, but I'll go into it a little bit more, how well planned out this robbery.
This whole plot is,
the whole thing. And Hans Gruber is really, really, really sharp. And so during his encounter, like, he doesn't actually get to kill John McClane, because John McClane's like one step ahead in this instance. But Hans Gruber is very, very sharp. He realizes John McClane is barefoot, and as his henchmen shoot the glass, which results in a horrific scene of John McClane running over the broken glass, getting all on his bare feet.
And look,
it's disgusting to this very day.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but the part where he's trying to break that window when he jumps off the roof and he's smearing his blood.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That kind of turns my stomach a little bit.
Dude, because you can steal, like, I mean, we all know what it's like to just, like, well, and me and Shadwick know what it's like to walk barefoot. But that was the one that finally broke the ice. But no, for real, like, you know how sensitive the bottom of your fucking feet are. Like, if you stepped on a sharp piece of gravel or something.
Do you?
Yeah.
Dude, the part where, so there's another part, like, later, like, not shortly after this, where he's talking to Carl Winslow again, and he's pulling glass out of his feet. That still makes me cringe.
What kind of odds am I getting?
You don't want to know.
Put me down for 20. I'm good for it.
Dude, it's just disgusting, bro.
And that's when he asked him, like, are you flat-footed? And he's like, what? He's like, why are you not on the beat anymore?
Yeah.
And that's when Chris, I think he tells him what?
I shot a kid.
I'm really glad I picked that for shit stuck in my head.
That was great. It was a great one. So John McClane escapes from the Hans Gruber and the terrorists.
Drags his fucking bloody feet, and now he's got he's pulling the glass out, and he gets on the radio, and so they actually filmed this scene two different ways, because this one he's like crying. It gets pretty emotional because he's like kind of realizing, like, I'm probably not going to fucking get out of here.
He's going to die.
Yeah, I'm going to die.
Yeah,
and so
he's trying to, like, say, tell his wife, I'm sorry.
And so they filmed this two ways. They filmed it, the one that was in the movie, because he's crying and he's, like, pretty emotional and everything. And they thought, okay, now do it again, but let's not cry, because they didn't know when they filmed it, it was so emotional. They were like, is this going to be, like, too much? You know, is this going to be... Like,
no, dude, you need those emotional beats.
But it's kind of, to me, especially like anyone that's done any editing whatsoever, it's a nice lesson in editing to have options. So when you're on the cutting floor, you can be like, and that didn't work, or that did work, and then it's like
there's a lot of goofy moments that we didn't mention. Like when the cops are like assaulting the area, there's a guy running through a rose bush, and he hits his elbow on one of those. He's like, "Ow!"
Yeah.
Like he's like, there's a lot of goofy moments in this film.
So the director, he wanted more like comedic bits thrown into the movie, and when they contacted Bruce Willis's agent or his people, whatever, they're like, you know what? He's tired of the rewrites. Like, well, let's just go with what we got.
Yeah.
You know? And it just ended up that the writer, the script writer that was writing as they were filming, he met with Bruce Willis, and Willis was like, dude, like, you got a good sense of humor. Like, can we just like get more of that in there?
Yeah.
And the dude was like, well, your people said that you didn't want any more rewrites. It's like, fuck them. Like, put as much comedy in there as you can.
Yeah.
And it does come through. Bruce Willis has a lot. We haven't mentioned this up until now, but we skipped over a lot of hilarious one-liners that he talks about. Dude. You know, the yippee-ki-yay, where he's like,
welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
So, you know, the yippee-ki-yay was ad-libbed. Like,
so was Now I Know What a TV Dinner Feels Like, also ad-libbed.
Yeah.
Like,
dude.
Also, like, yeah, so Bruce Willis is just a sharp dude, like in a funny, sarcastic asshole, which is funny as shit.
It works almost like a stand-up comedian delivering lines. They work so much better. You watch these, and then you watch a lot of the Arnold Schwarzenegger lines where he's like, he throws a knife at a guy, and he's like, stick around. They're both funny, but for different reasons, right? There's a clever.
There's different ways to do. Well, this is like there's different ways to do action, right? You can do action so many different ways. It doesn't have to. I know we all like to think that it falls under the Schwarzenegger blow up, boom, whatever, but it doesn't. And even Arnold's movies didn't. There's a lot of depth in Predator. Like there's a shit ton of depth in Predator. So it's like,
dude, we talked about it. Watch our Predator episode. You're 100% right.
Especially Billy.
You know.
So Hans Gruber, then obviously the cops are well aware of what's happening. The FBI does eventually show up, and Hans Gruber makes a fake terrorist demand.
I have comrades in arms around the world languishing in prison. The American State Department enjoys rattling its saber for its own ends. Now I can rattle it for me.
But you don't really know it at the time. You think that this is like his fucking. You think this is what he's doing. He's trying to get. He's like a political protest. He's trying
to get people released from prison, like all over the globe, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird part about this is he actually states that he's a thief in the very beginning. But you know what? To Chris's point, even to this last time that I watched it for this podcast, I did not notice that.
Because I am interested in the $640 million in negotiable bearer bonds that you have locked in your vault.
That he actually tells you his plan in the very beginning. I'm still convinced, like most people when you watch this movie, that he is still a terrorist. And even though he's already stated his motives at the very beginning, that he wants the bonds, that he wants the money.
See, I don't remember that from the beginning. Like,
in the very beginning, before he blows off Joe Takanaki's head or whatever his name is, he was like, "I'm after the $680 million bonds that you have in your basement. I don't care about your corporation or blackmailing you or any of the other people there." He tells you.
Can you guys tell me, bearer bonds, was that like an untraceable form of currency? Like you take a bearer bond like into the bank, and they're like, oh, it says it's worth this.
Yeah,
it's worth this, so we're going to give you.
Because I mean, they had savings bonds that essentially were like not traceable back then that you could get. So
that's what I was about to say.
But I think bearer bonds. I think people use those as like tax shelters or something. Like so you could be worth so much money, but you couldn't claim it on your taxes, maybe.
Yeah. So bearer bonds were bonds that have no registration. These bonds were issued by companies or governments and sold to investors to raise money or capital for like investment capital.
So if you steal these, there's no paper trail and you can cash these. So you're good.
The owner
all you
of
got to
the
do is get
bond.
away.
So the owner, what's the owner of the company's name again? Takagi?
His name is Joe Takashi. Not gonna work here anymore. That's
Right.
His name is Joe. His name is Joe Bukaki.
So was he doing some kind of underhanded shit? Like, did he have all these bearer bonds because he wasn't legitimate?
No, he absolutely was.
You can use those
legitimate.
to raise you can use those to raise capital for your company. So it was like a legit business thing that people would do.
So before the internet, right? Like, how are you going to guarantee the investment? You would issue bonds back in the 80s rather than, initial like stocks and things of that nature. Like that. Yeah. So a bearer bond obviously is it's a debt instrument issued to a company by or a government body to investors to finance a variety of initiatives. It was for financiers, right?
Is that still a thing? Like, can you still buy bearer bonds?
If like one of us, like say a podcast, was wanting to get invested in something like that,
I'm just asking. Like, I mean, you can't smoke on an airplane anymore, so
I mean, can you at least bearer bonds? Can you at least get bearer bonds? Well, what I like too is when he's making these demands, and he's like in the guys that's on the phone, he was just like,
"Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns."
2 weeks, Bender.
Hook 'em horns.
2 weeks, Bender. It's like, can you
another week?
Yeah. Stop.
No.
And so this just goes to show Hans Gruber has this planned out from the get-go. He issues these fake demands, and he knows that as soon as he does, he has hostages. The FBI is going to shut down the electricity, which is what he planned, because they're drilling through the safe, and the last safeguard on this safe can only be shut down by the code, which they don't have because they shot the Japanese guy in the head, or by a power outage.
Right.
So the FBI actually plans right into
like the levels of planning he had for this were like contingencies. If this happens, we do this. If this happens, we do this.
Yeah.
Like, except for John McClane didn't plan for that. Brother.
Does it kind of remind you of The Dark Knight, like the opening scene where they go to the bank?
Yeah,
because it's like, what was it, electromagnetic field around the vault or something like that, or it's electrified? You're like who electrifies a vault? It's a mob bank.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, exactly. You know what's funny about this is that I was like, when I watched this, it's the first time I thought, this is really almost a reverse Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch it, like, it's obviously bad guys doing bad things and they don't end up winning in the end.
But it's so meticulous and planned out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so they have like the black guy who's like really funny and clever, but he's a hacker. Mm-hmm. You have like the two German guys who are like the muscle, and various other henchmen. You have Hans Gruber,
and Franz.
Yeah, Hans, who is the main guy.
You up.
Dude, speaking of Hans and Franz, when Schwarzenegger ran into Bruce Willis, they didn't really have a rivalry, but he's like, I know you'll never be an action star. And Bruce is like, I don't know, Arnold. Why won't I be an action star? And he's like, toothpick arms.
Baby arms.
Yeah.
Dude, he was so Arnold, like Arnold's one of my heroes. He's so wrong. Like, Bruce Willis just owned this role. And
dude,
to me, here's one of the reasons.
You know what? If Arnold had been the star of this, it would not have been.
It couldn't be the same movie.
It'd have been a joke, because you
can't have Arnold be an underdog. You just can't.
No. And that's what it was. It's like you have all these terrorists. You don't Arnold's going to just dominate. You don't expect this like balding, like ex-cop or whatever
Right.
to be anything.
You know what?
And you find yourself just rooting for him beyond belief.
I'm glad you said that about him being balding. I keep getting these fucking ads on social media for like Spartan shampoo to help with balding. You know, it's not going to work. You know how I know that? You know how I know that? Because Bruce Willis was in The Fifth Element. You know how far in the future that is?
Yeah.
You know how far in the future Jean-Luc Picard is? They don't fucking solve balding.
Let me tell you something.
So you cannot have my money. Fuck you.
Wait, whenever I was finally decided to shave off my head, you know what? There was two people that honestly I believed that were my idols, and number one was Bruce Willis. It's like, dude, you could still be a hero. You can still be a Chad.
Yeah,
you can still be good looking. Him and the British actor Jason Statham was the other one. I was like, I'm gonna go full Jason Statham, dude. Like,
you know
shave
what?
That was before The Rock and all of these other dudes who were bald. Heroes.
Here's the problem with that. Maybe you suffer with the same thing I do. If I shave my head, I look like fucking Uncle Fester. So, and I don't like the taste of light bulbs. So,
well, maybe you should just get used to it.
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
So we get to the climactic showdown. The pissed off German brother who Bruce Willis murdered his brother early on in the film finally catches up to McClane, and they have the epic fight.
He throws
gun
some
battle showdown.
He throws some sweet fucking
sweet
belly.
This is another. It makes sense because he pulls the gun on him, and you know, people be like, why just fucking kill him? That dude killed your brother. Like, you don't want to fucking kill shot in the fucking head. You want to make this dude suffer. Like,
guns are too quick.
Yep,
you
guns
can't
are too
savor
quick.
all the little emotions.
Yep, exactly. You want to know which one of your friends were cowards?
Oh, one of the most savage lines. When are we going to do that one? Soon.
Yeah.
Batman Begins is 20 years old next year. So,
well, game on, 2025. But that's when this like big fight happens.
They fight,
and you start to see a little bit of this fucking ballet. But it's a solid fight scene.
And this is
except for one scene,
exactly where I was talking about earlier, where they walked through this construction zone, and they're like, "Oh, we can use those pipes. We can use that dolly. We can use those chains. We can use that stairwell." And
them in 1990s WWE is basically the same thing.
I am going on record. I'm going on record. I believe this is the last time that I saw an actual karate chop.
Oh, dude,
in a film. The German guy tries to give Bruce Willis a karate chop. Somewhere in the fight, you go back and watch it. I laughed so hard I had to pause it. I was laughing so hard.
Did he say judo chop?
Judo chop. I'll tell you this too.
He may as well have.
When all this is going on, and you know me, I fucking hate closed captions, and I hate closed captions only because I get stuck fucking reading. Like, I don't focus on the movie, and it hurts my old fucking eyes. But there's some trash talk from Bruce Willis that you pick up on the closed caption during the scene. So if you hadn't seen the scene in a while, go back and watch it with the closed caption.
Yes.
He's talking some mad fucking
he talks
shit.
about his brother squealing when he died.
Yeah, dude. He's talking mad shit. I was like, damn, Bruce. But anyway, it ends with this dude.
My boy's
just
fucking
being
mad smart. Fucking wicked smart.
Wicked smart. This fucking ends with this guy hanging by his neck in his fucking closet, or actually off of a chain. What's great too is he pushes the chain.
Which is how I imagine all ballet dancers in their lives.
I don't know. I've never seen Black Swan. I've seen about 3 minutes of Black Swan.
That's my wife's favorite movie.
3.5, maybe even 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happens. That's my wife's favorite movie, but that's not what happens here. The FBI continues to play after this scene. The FBI continues to play in Hans.
Your wife likes
Gruber's
watching
hands.
Lily Lickers, huh? It's not a bad position to be in.
I bet that tastes good.
No!
I mean, Leaf, come on.
Damn it, dude.
How'd your wife break her arm?
We'll tell that story another day. That's Patreon content.
I'll tell it right fucking now.
No, you won't. Chris will edit it out because that's Patreon. You're going to pay for that story.
You're going to pay for that story.
You're going to pay for that one.
Come on, Patreon.
Yeah.
So the FBI plays right in Hans Gruber's hands by sending a helicopter assault.
So one more behind the scenes on this one. This is real. Those helicopters flying through downtown, that's like they had to get
kidding me.
High officials to sign off on that. And these are actually like trained fucking pilots that are, rumor is, allegedly, the rumor is that a guy, one of the guys that lived nearby saw this and thought like they were under attack and had a heart attack. I'm going to assume that's real because it makes me laugh.
Fucking War of the Worlds?
Yeah, exactly. It was Orson Welles.
Well,
it's even better when you're dead.
All right, so I was going to ask that because I know the roof explosion with the helicopter. That's a model.
That's a model. Yes, but
I wasn't sure if them flying so fucking low in the city.
That's by all accounts
one
fucking
shot.
real.
There's one shot where they're like just like 8 or 10 feet above the
fucking
street,
know.
the
Dude,
street
I know.
lights.
Like that shit is intense, and they only had one pass.
Dude.
They had one pass, so they said,
"Yeah, they only had 2 hours to film that whole scene, right?"
And so they were like, "You get one fucking pass," and so I guess they had all of cameras in God's creation set up. I assume because they were like, I mean, don't fuck this. You don't want to be Jerry on camera 3 that fucked this one up.
And this,
you'll never work in this town again, Jerry.
A lot of people might think this is a throwaway line too, but when it's showing like the FBI guys, like they're in the helicopter, and the main guy, he's like,
Just like fucking Saigon! Hey, Slick! I was in junior high, dickhead.
Another one that I'd forgot about till I watched this again. I was like, that is funny as shit, man. But like, so Hans is moving all of the hostages. What he's told them is, we'll put the hostages on the ceiling. What the FBI doesn't know is, or on the roof is the roof is now fucking rigged to blow.
Yeah.
And so the actual plan is Han's going to blow the roof. They have a fucking faux ambulance downstairs that all the fucking bad guys can get away in the
genius.
In the aftermath, because there's going to be ambulances in and out of this fucking place. So they're already set up, ready to go. Argyle goes ahead and fucking spoils the ambulance in the bottom. His little hero moment with his fucking limousine.
He sees that box truck open up and he sees the ambulance coming out. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? So he rectifies that. But anyway, McClane goes on the roof because now McClane's wife, thanks to the fucking shitty TV reporter, he's exposed.
Who has no dick, I hear.
Yeah, that dickless guy, Your Honor. So he's gone. Like he's like, oh shit. Like, so Gruber's like, this is his wife. Holy shit. Looks at the picture in the office and is like,
yeah,
confirmed. Like, game on. And then so when the helicopters pull up and John McClane's like, he's spraying the machine gun to get everybody to get the fuck out of there, trying to save lives. They're like, oh shit, there's a terrorist shooting hostages on the roof.
Yeah, so I'm going to get this little bastard.
So I lied about the helicopter. This is the last behind the scenes fact I'll tell you. So when he's on the roof and it's about to blow and he ties the fucking, the epic scene where he ties the fire hose around him. Yeah. That was the first scene he shot for this.
Really?
Period.
Really? So that was the first.
And again, under the allegedly banner, which the directors and everyone else fucking deny. The rumor was the reason it was the first scene they shot was if something went amiss, because he actually did the stunt, they would just recast it and they wouldn't have to reshoot anything.
Damn.
Whoa. Really?
Damn. Just like, we'll get to the end scene.
Dude, is that not that has to be one of the top 5 most like epic.
Oh, for
shots,
sure.
Where he jumps off and the fucking explosions behind him, and you just see his silhouette.
Willis said that when he almost missed the bag when he jumped, which actually he side note brought Demi Moore out when they were like dating. Like out here to be like, hey,
and he landed on her fun bags.
He did, but so when he jumped, he almost got blown off the fucking bag. And so when he said everybody was rushing down there, he was like, "Damn, I fucking nailed that."
Those things built for speed.
So they came up to him, and he thought they were going to be like, "Dude, great job," or whatever. They came up to him to see if he was dead. They were worried that he'd
dead.
He'd missed the fucking bag. I'm like, man, the whole country was fucked up, you know. And I've got there's
God, I wish I was an adult in the 80s.
Yeah. So this is where you get your fucking epic showdown now, because he does escape the roof. There's the epic scene. Everyone's seen it. I like the shoot the glass out. He busts through, so now he's still back there.
So that's the part I was talking about earlier. Like he jumps off the roof. He's got the fire hose tied to him, and he swings down and hits the glass wall, the window, and it just smears the blood off the bottom of his feet.
Hey, that's a good continuity guy. He's not missing a shape.
Yeah,
really good.
And so like he swings back and hits it again, and there's more blood smears, and he swings back, and then he finally shoots
Which
it.
I thought was fucking cool as shit, because I would never think to do that. Like even writing a movie, like that's cool as shit.
Yeah,
to weaken it so you can bust through.
Yeah, so he shoots it, he busts through, and then it's the old good news, bad news thing.
Yeah, because the rest of it's falling now.
Yeah, you got the big like metal spool that it was attached to. It falls off the roof. So it's great. He's in the building. You have Michael Jordan in your commercial, which is excellent. But now this fucking big ass metal spool is going to drag your ass back out of the window you just crashed through.
But he ends up getting it untied, so he's safe. But this sets us up for this final showdown here with him and Hans Gruber, which this last scene has been fucking parodied insanely to death, which is amazing.
To death.
You guys know the behind the scenes on this, though?
No, man, go ahead.
So they Rickman, he wanted to do this. It was a 40-foot drop onto an airbag. And so they had him rigged up, and they're like, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, go, and then we're going to drop you, right? The special effects guy or the stunt coordinator, he's like, drop him on 2.
Yep.
Or drop him on 3, maybe.
No, it was 2. He said drop him on 2. I do know the story.
So
he counts down to 2, and if you watch the slow motion, that Alan Rickman's a great actor, but that is real terror in his fucking face because he's not braced. Like he pulls the gun up, and then it's like, oh shit. So actually, he did it 3 times, and to the reverse of Bruce Willis shooting his thing first, this was the last scene that Alan Rickman shot with the theory of, well, if something went awry, I mean, we got the rest of the fucking movie back.
If I'm dead here, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Just cut it in. It's fine.
You know what? This was one of the questions that I wanted to ask Michael Uslan when we had him on. Batman 89 came out a year after this. To me, I think this might be the pinnacle of a shot of a guy falling off of a building, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it's the slow motion.
When I saw this,
he's got
I was
that
like,
tear in his eyes.
This is how you're supposed to do it, RoboCop, you dumbass. But this is the quintessential.
Even Batman 89.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Batman 89.
That's what I'm saying. A year later, Batman 89. Why did they fucking put a cartoon in there when Joker's falling?
I think too, like, so the CGI and shit is just starting to become like that. Special effects shit is starting to become. Hollywood wants to use new toys. And where does he get those wonderful toys? And so, like, I wonder if that's what it is. Where it's like,
I 100% blame Tim Burton on that one. That is a Tim Burton decision. I feel like because it was really cartoonish and almost sort of creepy but goofy.
Yeah,
and
that weird like fishtail always going down.
There's a line between that, right? Like there's a line between super duper creepy and then just fucking goofy, and it
that's sort of his art. That is his sort of artistic like imprint. A lot of times is like that strange, like goofy, artistic.
Don't call people retarded. That's not cool.
I did it,
so
I don't regret it.
So, so now McClane, he's got his wife back. They're going out, and the movie's over, and we ride off in the sunset. Oh wait, because he finally meets Mr. Carl Winslow face to face, and then all of a sudden, the other Carl,
the
other Carl, who we thought was hung by his neck from his fucking closet, aka the chain, is still alive. And he's seeking revenge for his brother, but is destroyed and summarily killed by a bullet from Carl Winslow.
I shot a kid.
So Carl Winslow redeems himself by shooting Carl, who was trying to get a last-ditch effort.
Who was not 13.
Yeah, so he's dead. And so then you have the nice little reunion. Holly McClane and Mr. Argyle. I do believe Holly punches out fucking the dickless reporter, too.
What are your feelings?
It is true. This man has no dick.
Yeah,
on the way
for
out.
endangering their children because he thought it was a good idea to.
Hey, it got him ratings, and luckily nothing's changed in today's society. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take you over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but... In the early part of the previous century, Germany decided to go to war. And who did they go to war with? The world.